We have had a long and up and down week. In fact, it seems like it's a long time ago since we played Loyola, but it was last Thursday. We talked a little bit about last week about the scenarios going into that game, and they were complicated, and there were many of them. But basically, the game against Loyola, we played very well. We competed. It's a tough place to play. It's downtown Chicago. The turf is old and kind of, the ball bounces very strangely on that turf. So it's a tough environment to play in, and our girls played really well. We started the game off on the front foot and really took the game to them. But Loyola are a very good team, and they came right back at us. We actually had a goal disallowed in the second half, right after halftime. That would have put us 1-0 up. It was called back for offside, and I'm not sure it really was, but so that was disappointing. And then we were kind of watching the other game. It was important that we won our game, and then we didn't really have to worry about the other games. But obviously, as the game's 0-0, you have to have an eye on what's going on elsewhere. So my assistant Josh, was kind of watching how Indiana State were going, and they were 2-0 up against Illinois State, which was a bit of a shock. But so at about 75 minutes in, we were like, look, we were going to have to go for it, because even a draw at that point wasn't going to be enough. So we had to go for it. We started pushing players forward a little bit, trying to get a goal, and Loyola counterattacked and scored a goal with about 10 minutes to go. So at that point, we were 1-0 down, and Indiana State were 2-0 up, and we were out. I mean, we were out of the tournament, and the coaches knew it, the players didn't know it, but I think they kind of caught on that we were really pushing and kind of sensed something. So we tried to get an equalizer, couldn't get it, and so at the end of the game, we had a lot of tears and a lot of down people, and it was tough. But literally, as we're stretching, we circle up after every game, and when we get a stretch, Illinois State scored 2 goals, made it 2-2, which still had us out. But obviously in soccer, if it's a tie, you go into overtime and things like that. So we still had a chance. And then again, as we're still stretching, Illinois State go up 3-2. They scored 3 goals in about a 6-minute span, and we're in. And we weren't hooping and hollering, but we were definitely, the tears stopped for a little bit. And about 30 seconds later, Indiana State scored 3-3, and we're out. And then we're like, okay, well, it's still tied. It's still going to go to overtime. Anything can happen. And literally, as we're walking off the field, going back, to see our parents and after get showered, Illinois State scored, made it 4-3, and that was only, I think, 80 seconds left in that game, and we were in again. So a roller coaster of emotions that night, and obviously, Illinois State ended up winning 4-3, and we're in the tournament, and we've got a second chance, and so we go down to Missouri State at the weekend, long trip. We literally pulled in from Chicago. I don't even know what day that was. Friday morning, I think at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. on Friday, and then we're back on the bus at 7 a.m. Saturday to go down to Springfield, which, as everybody knows, it's a haul. It's 7.5 hours of, on a bus. And so, but the attitude of the girls was, look, we've got a second chance. Let's go down there and let's really go for it. We had a bit of a chip on our shoulder. I think we talked a bit about that. That teams didn't really respect us that much, and so we went down there, and we talked about really going for that game. We had played down there a few weeks back against Missouri State and didn't really show up. Didn't play the way we normally play, and so we knew if we really played our best soccer, that we had a chance. And I'll be honest, we started that game off so well yesterday. We really went at them, really turned them around, had numerous chances to score in the first half, had a PK that right before halftime that Katie Witt, our senior, was fouled. And then, she's our normal PK taker, so she took it and unfortunately missed, so the goalkeeper saved it. But, even then we were like, let's forget about it. I mean, it was disappointing, but let's forget about it because there's only one team that looks like they're going to win this game. After halftime, we scored quickly off a free kick. Our freshman, Brunel Yant, who's really, if you've seen us play, Brunel is extremely fast. I mean, maybe one of the fastest players in Division I soccer, and is going to run track here at UNI after the soccer season. But she really hasn't had a finishing product to a great speed most of the season. It's been, she gets in and then there's not really much going on after that. But just lately, she's really got some confidence. And it started, getting assists and getting goals for us. And so she scored the first goal, and then about 10 minutes later, we put the ball back over the top of their defense, and Brunel ran onto it. And once Brunel's behind the defense, nobody can catch her, and it's just a matter of is she going to finish. And she was able to put it in for 2-0. So we're in a great position. We felt like we were on top of the game anyway. And now we've got our 2 goals. We have one of the best defensive records in the country, so we felt pretty confident that we could hold Missouri State. And quite honestly, for 85 minutes, it was a pretty comfortable 2-0, scoreline. They came at us, of course. They're at home, and then they want to get into the semifinals as badly as we do, but we didn't really feel that threat. And then we kind of fell asleep. Our concentration went a little bit. I think maybe we thought the game was over and we had won. And we made a bit of an error, and they scored. And then, of course, the last 5 minutes is just frantic. And then they had a couple of opportunities to tie the game up, and we cleared one off the line. One went wide from about an inch wide of the post. The coaches are bouncing up and jumping up and down. We're just trying to get over the finish line, and finally we did, obviously. So to win that game 2-1. So again. A pretty good reaction. I've been telling the team all year that they've been reacting really well to wins, and they don't get too excited about wins. They don't get too down on losses. And I actually said to them after we stretched after the game yesterday, I was like, you guys know you're in the semifinals, right? And they're like, oh yeah. And so they started celebrating a little bit. But it's I think this group think that they can win this tournament this weekend, and I think that's their final goal, and certainly we haven't talked. We've given them the day off today, just because of all the traveling. But we'll talk and we'll regroup, and we're definitely going to go down to Evansville to win the game and win the tournament, because we feel like the 4 teams that are there, and we tied Drake, we beat Evansville, and we played Loyola very closely. So we feel like we belong there, and we feel like we can do some damage there. We're going to have to play our best. But we certainly feel like if we can do that, then we have a very good chance. So we head down on Wednesday. We play Friday against Evansville on 6 o'clock Friday night. It's on ESPN3, which will be a new thing for us. But yeah, we're very much looking forward to it. We're pretty healthy, and obviously we have a bit of momentum now going into the game, so we're looking forward to it. Any questions? That was probably the longest soccer speech ever. So but I figured I probably won't have many more, so I might as well take it anyway. Any questions about soccer?
How do you match up with Evansville with their style of play and what you do?
Yeah, they definitely pass the ball a little bit more than we do. They play through the team from back to front a little bit more than we do. They have a big field there. They have a men's soccer program, so their field's quite, I think, maximum size, and so they really kind of spread out and try to spread you out. So we're going to have to be conscious of that, and just try to stop them playing, really. If we stay off them and give them too much space, they'll probably pass around us, and we'll be in big trouble. So we're going to have to stay compact. We're going to have to stay together and really close them down. And then I think when we get the ball, we'll cause them problems, because I think maybe we're a little more athletic, a little bit bigger than they are, and so that's going to be our strategy, is just to be a little more physical than they are. So, but it's going to be an interesting game. There's 2 different styles, that's for sure.
How great is it really for the program not just to be able to win and advance to the tournament, but now you're going to the championship side and you're right there with all the other teams and have that opportunity to win it?
Yeah, well, I mean, we did it 5 years ago, and at the time, it was kind of the natural progression of the program. It was, we had a couple of years where we were kind of rebuilding the program a little bit, and then we got to the tournament maybe a little bit earlier than we had expected at that point. And then, obviously, again, we felt like, we're going to do this on a consistent basis, and it hasn't really worked out. I mean, we've hosted the first round game a couple of times in that time span and lost, 2 very tight games. and then obviously this year we've got back there again. So yeah, it's great for the program. You know, but we're looking to make the next step. I mean, you know, as Colin said there, I mean, you know, UNI's never been in the title game, and that's the goal of this group. This group's always wanted to set new standards for the soccer program, and you know, they have a good opportunity to do that this weekend. So I mean, that's going to be our goal for sure.
You played in a lot of different settings. You talk about the one in Loyola, downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
What's it like at Evansville? What kind of pitch do they
Oh, it's
have?
nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's pretty open. It's a nice soccer stadium, soccer specific. They have a Bermuda grass field. You know, it's usually not in the greatest of shapes later on in the season because again they have men's soccer and women's soccer. But no, it'll be a nice venue for the championships. Obviously, it's usually a little bit warmer there than it is some other locations. So yeah, no excuses there. I mean, I know we're playing the hosts on their own field, but you know, that I don't think that's going to phase us, and that's not going to make any difference to us. We're just going to concentrate on playing our style, our game of soccer, and we're very capable. I mean, like I've said, with all four teams there, you know, we certainly don't fear anybody. We respect all the teams that are there, but we're not going to fear them, and we're just going to kind of take care of ourselves, I think. So.
Bus trip, or are they going to fly you into Evansville?
Bus trip. Bus trip.
I kind of see that.
Yeah. Any other questions?